Welcome to another Empire and Puzzles video. I want to talk about the compensation. As you guys all are aware, we had some nerf to some very strong, solid heroes that players had invested a lot of resources into. And Empire and Puzzles, a little while back, um, kind of after the release, and players complaining, decided to send out some compensations out to the players, which most of the community, I would say, probably 99% of the community felt that it was inadequate, and we wanted the ether resets to effectively strip those heroes and get our resources back that we invest, because it's the units don't work as intended anymore, and it makes it extremely difficult for the players to use them now than previously, right? And again, um, this has been a very contentious topic, of course, in the Empire and Puzzles community. So I really want to start by thanking the community and the players who have voiced their unhappiness with Empire and Puzzles SG's staff on how they have handled these situations. Um, Hitting up support over and over and over to request compensation, to request and just to voice their disgruntledness, um, kind of is the reason, and I'm not even saying it kind of, it has to be the reason why we even got the compensations that we did get. And then those who have taken the hardline stance of saying, hey, we're not going to spend anymore and invest in a game that isn't listening to the players in the community, those are the things that are effectively leading um, SG to give us the compensation tools when they decide to make these type of changes. And you know you know I know various people in the community differ on the balance, and the nerfs that took place for Pepper Flame, Starwalker, and Pop Hit, and those guys, um, because it was very toxic to face them on defense. But like I always said, SG can create countermeasures and counter heroes, and not nerf. And if you're going to nerf the ability, but give some buffs in it to make the hero still relevant. And then you don't have to give out the compensation package. But if you're going to be lazy, yeah, you're going to have to compensate the players. And I still don't like the compensation package that we got, because it doesn't quantify the risk and spending that the players have to invest in these heroes to get them leveled up, to get them to the level that they are, and then just having them taken away. It's frustration on the player's side that when they have these heroes and they work and they're very synergetic, to lose that and now have to find uh, other means of building teams and building heroes. And you never know, in a game that is as RNG as it is, with these low odds that they've put in the summon portals, where they can effectively build teams without getting lucky. If all you got lucky on was the Astral Elves portal, and you got these heroes, and now you lose your synergy because your Starwalkers, your 3 or 4 Starwalkers that you have, you can't use anymore. You're going to be frustrated. You're not going to want to play. And what is that worth to a player? Like, just saying, hey, we're gonna give you some resources back, or we're gonna give you these other random little bit of items, does not help a player, help a player feel good, to play the game anymore. Like, that does not help. It has to be something else. You got to give us the compensation package. You got to do something to fix or change or buff the hero. You have to do something, and it can't just be what they have sent out. So let's take a look. I actually deleted the email of the original package that they had sent out, but originally in their first package they had sent out to some heroes and not all, and that's another sticking point for me. Um, if you got the hero and you even put one feeder troop into the hero, you should get a compensation package. It shouldn't be because you didn't get the hero to 370. It shouldn't be because you didn't get the hero to 80, 85, or 90 and max out all the resources in the hero. No. If you got a hero and you put one feeder into that hero, you should get a compensation package. That should be the standard. Nope. We are going to make our players feel like, hey, we made a change in this game that we felt was for the best. Yeah, it is affecting their pockets, it's affecting their ability to have fun in the game. We want to make sure that they have the resources back. Whether or not they use it on the hero and decide to use it on a different hero is up to the players, but at least compensate the players as well. On top of that, the gem package that should be in there, they should have gave every player that has spent on each of the heroes of the banners at least 10,000 gems per banner. Yeah, that's $100 compensation package in gems for them to go and resummon. So if you had Pepper Flame, you had Starwalker, you had Pop Hit, you had Erlang Shen, you should get 10,000 gems per hero. Yeah, it's a lot, but you know what? I'm sure most players chasing those heroes spent way more than 10,000 gems. Ether resets, the resources that they use to put into the game, like you really didn't even give the players enough resources in terms of ham, stone, troops and things of that nature for them to even re-level a hero back to 90. It's not even enough. So I don't get why the compensation package being delayed because it wasn't released when you did the nerf, which is what you should have done. You should have sat down there and said, hey, what are we giving the players so that we don't have civil unrest in our game community, so that we can keep our players happy and say, hey, we know you guys don't like it, but we're hoping that this compensation package that we're sending out is going to allow you guys to, continue to play the game, continue to invest. Because trust me, if you give players, 330 pulls or 430 pulls, along with the resources to reset the hero because they no longer can use the hero and get all their resources back, on top of additional resources that they can use to level other heroes that they may have and that they want to level now, and now they have the resources to do that, I'm telling you, the community would be at peace. We wouldn't like it, but I would tell you 85 to 90% of the community would say, hey, listen, I don't like it, but you know what? Now I have a 30 pull. I can pull on future new banners that are coming out. I can use these resources. I got some kind of compensation back. Great. For those who got lucky and only had to spend one coin, or $1, $3, $5, whatever it is, to summon and get some of these heroes, great. But yeah, that's just my rant on the compensation package. So now to this part of the compensation package. So we woke up, I believe it was 2 days ago or yesterday, I think it was yesterday, to this compensation package that says, hey, due to technical reasons, this item could not be included in last month's gift. Okay. I'm not buying it. Small Giant staff, you guys didn't submit the gift right when you did the nerf. You didn't give it to the players. That gift was delayed. If you wanted to include it, you could have included it. And on top of that, this doesn't compensate for each of the heroes that a player has. So I have 2 Starwalkers maxed, 2 Pepper Flame maxed. Erlang Shen that's maxed, right? You should be giving me 5. You should give me 5 for each. To be honest, you should be giving me more than 5. Because technically, I have a lot of Starwalkers. I have you know, the heroes that even that I didn't level, right? That now I can't even, you know, go and level that hero because it doesn't make sense for me to invest in that to have a better experience in the war format that that hero was specialized in. You should be compensating each player based on, and if it's if because every um, compensation package is different. I have friends that got 1, 0, 3, right? And there's no rhyme or reason in the message as to, hey, you were compensated this because you had boom, 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 and here's the math of how how we did our compensation. No, they don't want to be transparent, which is very problematic for, you know, for communities because you're just literally throwing something in the wind and hoping it sticks and hoping it shuts people up, and that should not be the case. You should be very transparent in what you're compensating the players, and just saying, here, take this and be quiet is not going to have your community come back. Players are taking a very hard stand and saying, hey, we're not going to spend, we're not going to invest. And you know what? That is going to get their attention because we've been asking them to slow down the release of heroes, fixing issues in the game, add more things to the game that helps the community, helps the players just play the game, cleaning up bugs, buffing older heroes that people have already invested in, fixing some issues with heroes that we that are problematic. Just listening to the community as a general. So a way that we can affect um, the meta is by not summoning and bringing those newer heroes that they're releasing so quickly into the game, right? Because when players are going out there chasing and getting some of the newer heroes, um, it creates this panic amongst the community that, okay, hey man, the top alliance has this hero, this hero, this hero. Oh, we have to go chase him. We have to go get this hero, this hero, this hero, and this hero. No, if the heroes aren't or only in, 0.1% of teams on the roster, guess what? They're not going to get quick buffs. They're not going to have enough statistics to see them. And what's existing right now in the Empire and Puzzles game in terms of heroes that are released, those heroes can get buffs. Those heroes can seriously get looked at. The meta will be what is currently in the game. And then 6 months down the line, if, at that point we are not getting what we feel that Small Giants and the Empire and Puzzle staff can give to us as a players, then you continue to hold out. The game will play fine. If you have heroes right now, you can still save up in the tower event and collect some coins from doing what's that stupid quest? This owl tower, right? You can go and seasonal heroes and do the scarabs or the sea dragons and things of that nature and get some coins, save them up, try your luck in summoning and getting a hero. Great, but if we stabilize the game and not spend, they will, think in response, want us to try to get to spend, so they will start to meet us somewhere in the middle and say, hey, listen, we're accustomed to our player base, investing heavily into this game. All right, maybe we've got to a point where I think we need to listen to them and do some things to get them back into the habit of spending money, because the community is always want to spend money and invest in games that they play. That has never been an issue. They just don't like taking advantage of, and I think SG is taking advantage of the players at this point with some of these issues. So yeah, that's my rant on the compensation. Hey, just want to talk about the new hero, Cennius. Um, you know, For me, he's a fairly decent hero, um, but you know these type of heroes are a hard pass for me. It's a defensive hero who isn't a tank, and is very RNG-ish outside of his first two hits. So as you see, he does like 1,000 fixed damage, and that's fixed depending on if he's max and he's going up against a hero where he's had enough buffs and enough stats over um, the target. So his max damage is 1,000, right? And that's, you get your growth on him and things of that nature. So you could do 1,000 to a target. He does another 1,000 to another random target, and let's kind of just conceptualize it into a single target, right? So it's going to do 1,000 the first strike, 1,000 the second time, and it has a potential, I think, roughly about a 66% chance, roughly or so, to do a third hit. Then after that, it has a 66% chance to recast. Right? Should be, or does it drop then? I'm not sure. But let's just say like he gets 3 hits off. It's 3,000 damage, and that's to one target. But then it's random. It can go to different targets. It can, go to, a target goes back to another target, things of that nature. So it's very RNG-ish in terms of where the damage is going to kind of flow, unless you you have limited opponents on the screen. So not a hero that I prefer to look at and to chase. And I don't think he sustains over time. Like right now, his attack is right now in the current meta of the game because of his late release. But if you look at him and compare him to heroes like Iran, so Iran is doing 2,100 roughly at his max peak, right? Which is right now in the current meta. And let's look at Dio-Chan and these guys at 3,000 health. That's 66% of their health gone in one shot, which is a very effective snipe. Heroes like this that have also passive abilities. All enemies get minus 35% defense for 4 turns. Shift and mindless, right? Down the road, you can reuse these heroes. 66% of health. Let's say the meta changes and it goes up to 4,000. We're still looking at 50% health on a snipe, along with these added effects. So heroes like Iran, I think Fauve is 1,400. So right now she's sitting at 15%. But then she has added effects that allow her to be good in different type of wars, and situations against healers and things of that nature. Varus is going to tail off because he's only at 12, but he's 1,200 hitting everyone. So you're looking at 12 times 5 is like 6,000 health across the board that he can hit, which is pretty solid for him. But he also has that bleed damage for another 1,000, right? So it's really like 2,000. It's the bleed over time, but it's really a good amount, and then accuracy down. So Varus is going to be situation, but still playable down the road. Amadeus, I believe he is 2,000 fixed damage, right? To all. So right now he's 66% right now. Down the road at 4,000, he's at 50% health hit at max to all targets, right? And then a mana increase. So Cennius, I think Cennius is 1,500, right? Cap, right? With priority dispel, and neutralizing status effects on the opponent. Still going to be good down the road that you can still use him. Lodius, right now sitting at roughly just a little bit, maybe close to 70% health on his single snipe, but he also counterattacks for all allies, right? These are the added effects of what helps a hero live through its release and through the meta, if you wouldn't even call it that it currently exists in. So, this is Cennius is, definitely a hard pass. I wouldn't recommend that you summon him. And if you do grab him, if you don't have a choice, yeah, you can level him and have a flavor for the month now. But he's not going to be somebody that down the road you're going to be happy that you invested your resources in. So that's just my thoughts on Cennius. All right. I want to talk about the PoV and PoG changes. Um, so in the past, Path of Valor was a very cheap solution for you to daily, get into the game, do the daily task and things of that nature. You'll get, some ascension items. They added the ethers, alpha ethers to it. They added the ascension ethers, um, and I was always looking at this thing and said, you know what? In in a way, for $10 a month, this is a great way for very cheap to play um, players to get their heroes ascended. I didn't like the fact that I think the first node was only like three of the small um, ether nodes, and I always felt like that should be like 10 or something like that, since you need so much of it in the game. Um, and I don't think they were giving it out frequently enough or putting it in areas of the game where it's accessible to level like your 3-star heroes and get them limit broken, your 4-star, and you definitely need like 35 to like 45 or 50 for 5 stars to get them to their max. Um, so I always had a trouble with that. But the overhaul on it is, for me, um, it's I feel it's geared to more towards players that have heroes, um, and want to ascend them and get them into more competitive play. Um, they're just putting in trainers. They've taken out all the summon coins. They've taken out, the smaller ethers, and left the bigger ethers in. And I don't know about you guys, like I have a lot of the big ethers. The small ethers are the ones that are the struggle to get. Like you get them in a 1-to-1 ratio. You don't get them, in a 3-to-1 or a 5-to-1 ratio. So that is a big, big, big issue for me. Um, in kind of playing this game. So yeah, this changed to Path of Valor, and I think they did something similar with Path of Giants. They moved up their one of the ascension items, right, to this level, but ethers are non-existent, so you can't get master emblems um, onto you. Excuse me, you can get master emblems onto your hero and get that essentially additional 150 attack power and 100 health and 180 defense. However, like Ascensions, they're kind of underhandedly trying to say, hey, we're gonna give you these things, but we want you to go and summon on the Ether portal, so we're not giving it in this compensation package anymore. So for me, um, the same thing with the legendary troops, right? They want you to go summon for the legendary troops. And here's your incentive now, because we're just going to give you more feeder troops, which that's kind of like the positive to this one is you can now take these resources over time, level up, and then convert, which is going to eat up a lot of time, a lot of resources to get your troops converted from the old mana 4-star troops to the new legendary troops. And I think that's what's the goal with this. Also, for Path of Giants, one of the actual good things is you're getting enough emblems to level or to fully ascend your hero in the master emblem category, right? I think in here, if the compensation, if I remember right, it's about 400. I think it's over 400. So it's 50, right? 50 druid. So I get 50 here, 150, 190, 230, 430, right? So you get 430. That's four nodes because I think they all cost 100 of the emblem that you need. So it's four nodes, and they give you enough for I think four master emblems in each of the Path of Valor, right? So it's 10 there, it's 30, 35, and I think there's a 5 at the top, right? Yeah, so 40. So they give you just enough in this so that every Path of Valor that you get, you can unlock four nodes on a hero, given that you have the other resources that you need to do the unlocking. And then I believe before, I don't remember how many Alpha Ethers were in here. I think they added additional Alpha Ethers to this package. I think it's one, or it might be zero. So with a combination of um, Path of Valor and Path of Giants, um, you have just enough every other month to limit break perform the second limit break on a hero, which um, is good for competitive play. Um, these chests are just hot garbage in my opinion. It's too RNG. They should have a fixed component inside of this chest. Um, I don't like, hey, surprise, oh, you got nothing, or surprise, hey, you got something good today. To me, it's just it's that um, RNG of what you get out of it. I don't mind being surprised. Hey, I got an ascension item, or I got an alpha ether, or I got some master emblems, or I got you know 200 emblems, right? I'm fine with that level of surprise. I'm not surprised. I don't like the surprise of, hey, you got something or you got nothing. You got leaves and what's that nonsense they always put in the compensation, but all those season one stages, the items that they constantly put in these packages and think that it's something worth rewarding players with. So yeah, my thoughts would be for players, if you're at the phase where you just want to level your heroes, um, and get them to 80 to 85, 85 to 90, this package is still a very cheap alternative to do so. If you're a new player, absolutely not. I would tell you, um, this will help you ascend level up your heroes and get them to an area where I think you can beat and play the stages of the game without having to scratch your head so much. But for the commitment and the finances that you have to invest in it, it's probably not worth it for you. Um, Same thing for Path of Giants, because you're going to struggle to ascend your heroes um, to the next level. If you look at how many ascension items that they're going to give you, you're looking at, and they change every month, so it's not always two of tonics. You're going to take some time using these packages to get your hero, um, you know, to the fourth tier, to even get to use any of these additional resources that you're going to stockpile over time. So I'm not sure if it's worth it. I would say for cheap to play players and people who just limit break season one heroes that have costumes, this is probably one of the cheapest ways for you to monthly get your heroes up to level 90. Might not be a bad investment if you can do it, because you can get the fourth node and then essentially unlock your your superior master node talents on those season one um, 5-star legendary heroes, which will can, if you know how to synergize them correctly, can get you into a competitive space. It will take some luck on your end because you'll need to get the costumes, the toon costumes for those heroes in order for them to be able to combat the current meta of the game. But if you invest all the resources into them, absolutely. I feel that the season one heroes are as strong. They're probably the second meta tier in the game. That's how strong that they've buffed those heroes, and um, rightfully so, because those heroes are essential for cheap to play players, new players that are coming into the game, to be able to just play the game and have fun doing the regular stages, um, doing some of the events and things of that nature. So um, yeah, uh, hard pass for season players, hard pass for us in the community of where we're at. What I would like them to add to this, um, small ethers, you know, maybe, 10, 15, to go along with the event that comes out that gives us small ethers. Um, Summon tokens have to come back, at least, 300 of each, um, so that, players who buy this package, or even, please, I'd even take them sticking it into the chest, where you pop open the chest and, at the end of the chest, hey, they're going to give you, you know, 200 of each of the portal, 200, 300, 100, of each of the summon tokens at the bottom. Randomize it where you get 100 random of, you know, let's say we have 5 portals, 6 portals, whatever it is. You get 100 times 6, and it could be random. So you can get 4 of season 4, none of season 2, 1 of season 3, things of that nature. So I think that would get players more invested in buying the packages, because at least then they're just like, hey, I'm gonna get summon tokens. I know down at the end I'm gonna get summon tokens, and hopefully I get this one. I get, season 4 they got some costumes coming out. Season 5 they have costumes coming out on the wild tokens. They have costumes now. Astral elves, goblin tokens. You have so many different portals. Monster Island. You have so many different portals. Like, just give some free resources to the players and allow them to invest into the game, to help the community grow. Like, I think SG owes it to the players, the existing players, to ensure that the community is able to thrive and grow, and not make players feel like, they're just giving it up on us, or they're giving up on the game, and all our hard investing is just going to kind of be flushed down the toilet. So yep, that's my thoughts on Path of Valor. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys for War later on today. Have a good one.